memory serves me right, memory is a tricky business. With all of the research that keeps coming out about it, it seems that a lot of what people remember about memory just keeps on changing. But while we may not have a fully accurate idea of how memory works in the real world, perhaps we can get a handle on how it works in Marvel Comics, dealing with one particular character who is known for having a fairly foggy recollection, which just might be a mutant power in and of itself. An idea that's worth exploring, because today, Dave knows Wolverine's mutant memory loss. In the pages of Wolverine Origin, the comic book, not the movie, there was an interesting implication when dealing with a young Wolverine when his powers first manifested. Let's recap. The series recalls the early life of James Howlett, a privileged but sickly youth growing up in Canada with his well-to-do parents, John and Elizabeth Howlett. Also on their massive estate lived their groundskeeper, Thomas Logan, and his son who was only ever referred to as Dog. Then, one day, the Howletts took in a young orphan girl named Rose to be young James's companion, along with Dog. However, things all changed after Thomas Logan was fired. He drunkenly entered the main house in order to rob it, and during the incident, Thomas had an argument with Elizabeth where it was heavily implied that he is actually young James's father. John came out to confront the situation, only to be killed by Thomas in the process. And following the shocking sight, James goes into a full-blown rage, revealing 3 bone claws from each of his hands. 3 claws in which he used to stab and kill Thomas. Upon seeing her son as a mutant, Elizabeth committed suicide. After this, Rose runs off with James as the authorities are now at the mansion looking for answers. The two of them regroup for a moment while figuring out where they need to go next. But as they do so, Rose discovers that James actually has no memory whatsoever of the events that just occurred. Now, the idea behind this is that Wolverine's memory loss may actually be beneficial, especially since for much of the character's existence, not being able to remember his own life has been a major part of the character. Also, allow me to point out that for a long time it was widely considered that Logan's inability to remember his own past was the result of brainwashing that was done by the Weapon X program, usually thought to be done during the process that gave him his adamantium skeleton. Although, how exactly this process erases memory is not exactly clear. Now, we do know that Weapon X planted false memories in Logan's mind, but adding memories doesn't necessarily mean the old ones go away. For example, it was shown that a relationship between Logan and Silver Fox was implanted in both of their minds, although there is some evidence to suggest that perhaps the romance actually did happen, or that only some of it is false, but it's really not important for the story. Anyway, the point is, if you had false memories planted about a relationship that never was, it wouldn't delete memories of your real name. And while I know that the topic of repressed memories is a controversial one where many researchers have concluded that there really is no such thing, allow me to remind you that this is a comic book and not real life, as it seems that in this fictional world, repressing memories may very well be a thing, especially for Wolverine, because maybe, just maybe, memory loss is a byproduct of his healing factor. We've all just assumed that his mutant ability just heals him from physical damage, but what if it actually heals him from more than just that? What if traumatic experiences that cause immense psychological damage get instantaneously erased in order to prevent Logan from dealing with mental damage? What if, as frustrating as it might be to not know, what if there are some things that Wolverine really is better off just not knowing? And beyond just a tragedy from his childhood, let's look at the adamantium bonding process, as it's been said that it's one of the most grueling experiences that a person can possibly go through. A process that's so agonizing that a healing factor may just make you forget about it in order to keep your own sanity. But what do you guys think? Is Wolverine's chronic memory loss a byproduct of his awesome healing factor, or is it just a result of outside mental tampering? Let me know down in the comments, and don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up, as well as subscribing right here to Dave Knows Comics. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, Dave knows.